Good morning, my name's Terry McGeary. I'm out and about in Glasgow this morning. I thought I'd try and make some videos to put on YouTube just to show people what's in and around Scotland to begin with, and who knows where else I might end up. But this morning we're in Glasgow in Scotland and we're down beside the River Clyde, which is behind me here, and I think we'll have a wander around and I'll see what I can show you. And just now we're over at the east end of the Broomielaw, and if I look over to the south side here, just beside me, we have one fantastic building, which is Glasgow's main mosque. Glasgow has a thriving Muslim community here. That's somewhere that's really well worth a visit if you get a chance to have a look at it. Okay, what we'll do now is have a little walk over Victoria Bridge, and we'll see what's on the north side of the river. It's fairly quiet today, the traffic is fairly quiet because it is a Sunday morning, perhaps, maybe early afternoon now. And down that side to the west you can see one of the other road bridges and the railway bridge, which is leading into the terminus, which is Glasgow Central Station. So we've now crossed the bridge and we're going to walk along westwards along the side of the Broomielaw, see what we can see. If you're a cyclist here, it's very handy because Route 75 goes along the side of the Clyde here. There we are, just down here. There's a walkway and cycle path. I've cycled in from East Kilbride, which is about 10 miles up the road, down into Glasgow and along here all the way to the station. And sometimes a bit further, depending on how tired I'm feeling. You can see where we've come from over there. There's the mosque. I think that's the High Court building over there is what it's called. There's a saying that the Clyde made Glasgow and Glasgow made the Clyde, I think indicating that in the early days when the city was forming centuries back, it formed around about a water source, as a lot of towns and cities did. Later on the Clyde, many ships were built, and it was a major shipbuilding city in the world. You can see the evidence of that still here. Capstans, or bollards rather, not capstans, bollards, and things for attaching ships ropes to. I always think it's sad that the river is no longer used as it was. I think even about 40 years ago, 35, 40 years ago, there were a lot of ships making their way up here still. No longer. The river isn't used as much, I think, as it should be compared to other European city rivers. Great shame. And here we have a rather nice contrast on the Broomielaw. The river's just behind me here. Some nice modern buildings. Well, depends on your point of view, I suppose, but I think this reflective glass is quite good, and it's reflecting the Metropolitan Cathedral of St Andrews here, Catholic Cathedral. And this is a Carlton Place suspension bridge, apparently, which I wouldn't have been able to name until today. So I'll have a walk down here and see what's just downstairs. What a litter around, it's a pity people don't treat the place with more respect. Oh, what do we have here? Some street art. Okay, we'll wander up here. It's a very popular area for walkers and cyclists, joggers. And here's a jogger coming. And a cyclist. And none of this is very far from the centre of town. If I take you up here and we have a look, you can see up down there, we're quite near the St Enoch's shopping centre and St Enoch's underground station is also just there. And then you have Buchanan Street just behind it, pedestrianised area, and you're really in the middle of town, not far away. That's Clyde Street just along here beside us. Another jogger. And this monument, the city of Glasgow and the British Labour movement pay tribute to the courage of those men and women who went to Spain to fight fascism 1936 to 1939. 2,100 volunteers went from Britain, 534 were killed, 65 of whom came from Glasgow. The gentleman here is laying flowers. Just have a look up the top again. It says, better to die on your feet than live forever on your knees. So here you can see that Glasgow Green, which we'll visit another day perhaps, is 10 minutes away, 3 minutes by bicycle. People's Palace is at Glasgow Green, great, worth a visit. And Sky Park and the SECC, which is a place for shows. So So just to let you see where we've come, there we are. And as I come under the railway bridge, I'm just noticing a sign here on Clyde Street which says water bus. And I think that's true in the summertime. You can get a water bus from here. Not quite sure how far it goes. I think maybe down as far as Braehead, down at Paisley, further down the river. Not much further. Another little sign just at the side of the railway bridge telling us that Central Station is 6 minutes walk from here. The SEC for groups, shows of various kinds, 26 minutes walking, and the Riverside Museum, which we'll do another day as a visit, I think. Well worth going to, one of my favourite museums, right down by the riverside obviously. It's a museum of transport and other things. 44 minutes walk or 10 minutes on your bike. This time walking underneath the road bridge. And you can see some interesting bridges, all of which are preventing bigger ships coming up the Clyde, unfortunately. The Clyde has a number of interesting bridges over it. There's a railway bridge, of course, the footbridges, various ones, and the Kingston Bridge, which carries a big volume of traffic into Glasgow. Even on a Sunday you can see how busy it is. Oh dear, oh dear. It would be nice to think that the authorities would take advantage of this natural gathering of rubbish on the river, take advantage of that to clear it up while it's there, rather than allowing it to pollute the rest of the river and the sea further down. What are the chances of that happening? Yeah, not much. Yeah, that's interesting footbridge we saw. I'm not sure, I think this one is called locally Squinty Bridge because it's not very straight looking. And we'll move on further down. There's your Kingston Bridge there. And we'll see what there is to see once we go underneath. Yeah, very, very popular place for walks. And that interesting place is the ferry for, it's a kind of restaurant and showplace. Which looks quite nice, never been. Maybe one day if there's something I fancy, or even for a meal. Yeah, maybe breast of chicken and tomato, bell pepper and olive sauce with basmati rice. Chips for £2.20. Oh, that would be quite nice. Not today. Now we have the Kingston Bridge. And the local sightseeing bus, which is also a good way to see more of the city without any effort whatsoever. However, we will carry on up here a little bit further, and I'm going to go and look for something to eat. what I like about this bit of the end of the Broomielaw is the fact that there's some fabulous flats here. What wouldn't you give to live just along here on the edge of the Clyde? And further down we have the Rotunda building. There's one each side of the Clyde, that round one there. I think maybe one of them, perhaps both of them, are high class restaurants now. So what we'll do is walk a little bit further. I'll show you where the BBC building is, BBC Scotland, and Science Centre, maybe SEC building, and then we'll call it a day because my battery is getting quite low. Some relics here of Glasgow's industrial past. I'm really not sure what they are, but if we look across the other side of the Clyde, I think there are identical ones there, so something spanning the river. So we'll carry on down here a little bit further. And I'll let you see the signpost, the road signpost there for other places not far away. SEC, Glasgow Science Centre, the Riverside Museum, all not very far away. And this bridge, I think it might be called the Sugarley Bridge, but I'm not too sure. Interesting structure. And down there we can see the BBC Scotland building. A large tower is the tower of the Science Centre, which you can see a corner of just to the left hand side of the tower. Again, great, worth a visit, and if you have children they will love it as well. Large Titan crane you can see there just at the side of the Hilton Garden Inn. Large Titan crane. They were used, I believe, to lift the large marine engines into large ships way back in time quite a bit. And further over, just walk fairly quickly. As I say, my battery is, I think, running out. There's SEC for great shows. All the big bands and so on will come there. And further over, you might be able to see the Hydro, which also hosts bands and shows. You can just see the corner of it. It's like a large spaceship with grass around the bottom. And that's out there. And that seems like a good point to call it a day. Well, that's me. My battery's almost run out of charge and I need something to fill my stomach for lunch. So this is Terry McGarry out and about in Glasgow. Thank you very much for watching.